and welcome to our VinYin practice. We're going to start in our comfortable seated position. And wherever we are, we've got the eyes closed down. Bring your awareness to your physical body. Just allow your body to settle here on your mat. Ground down evenly through your sit bones. Elongate through your spine. Shoulder blades rest flat against your back. Your shoulders are nice and relaxed. Spine is long. And just notice how you're feeling in your body today. Shifting your awareness now to your breath. Just notice the natural rhythm of your breath. Notice if the breath feels deep and full. Perhaps the breath feels a little bit shallow, a little bit rapid in your body. Start to lengthen out here through your breath. Breathe all the way down into your low belly. Going to move through a short breathwork practice here where we're creating space between the inhale and the exhale. So on your next inhale, breathe deeply down into the low belly to the count of either 4 or 5, whatever resonates with you here. Pause here for a second or two. And then as we exhale, slow, steady exhale to the count of either 4 or 5. Pause here for a second or two before we inhale again. Moving through that again as you inhale, nice deep inhalation. Pause at the top. Smooth, steady exhale. Pause at the bottom. Going to move through this another 3 more times. So move through now at your own pace and really just observing the breath in each part of the practice. So observe your inhale, observe the pause at the top, observe your exhale, and also the pause at the bottom. And after you've taken your last round, we can release the conscious awareness and control of the breath and just return to your natural breath state. And notice how the breath feels now in your body. Notice any changes that have come through for you. The theme of our practice today is around the concept of expansion. So this can have many different interpretations for your life off your mat. So just notice what comes to mind for you initially when we speak about this word or this concept of expansion. Bring that into your awareness now. Coming back to our practice and this concept of expansion, we'll be moving through some poses that are quite obviously expansive in the body, and we will also move through some poses that have a little bit of constriction in the body, and I invite you to try and find that expansive feeling when we're closing off through the body. Just a few more breaths here before we start to move into the practice. As we inhale, we can gently open the eyes, bring the hands to heart center in Anjali Mudra. Take your exhale here. As we inhale, we can draw those arms up and overhead. On the exhale, bring the hands down through heart center. Pause at the heart center here. And then we're going to move our arms and our elbow over towards the right. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, coming over to the left. So when you do this, you might choose to rotate the head in the opposite direction. Inhale, come back to center. Take an exhale here. We'll move through that again. As we inhale, draw the arms up. Exhale, hands through heart center. Take an inhale again. Exhale, move those elbows to one side. Turn the head in the opposite direction. Inhale to center. Exhale, coming over to the other side. Inhale to center. Take an exhale here. I'm going to move through twice more of the same here, working with our breath. Starting to bring some gentle movement, some gentle heat into the body. This is our last round here. Inhale, draw those arms up and overhead. As we exhale, coming into a rotation to the left, bring your left fingertips behind you, right hand to left knee. As we inhale, we lengthen the spine. On the exhale, start to twist. Inhale, draws length into the body. Exhale, twist. And one more breath working in this way. Turn your head back first. Inhale, draw the arms up and overhead, coming back to center. And as we exhale, coming into that twist to the right now. Bring your right fingertips behind you, left hand to right knee. Inhale, draws length into your spine. Exhale, twist. And two more breaths working in this way. Inhale, coming back to center. Exhale, hands through heart center. Come over onto your hands and knees. Knees under hips. Hands just forward of your shoulders. We'll come into cat-cow from here. Easy inhale to drop the belly, lift your heart center, lift your gaze. Exhale, tuck your chin, round your back up. Inhale through front body. Exhale, back body opening. Twice more of the same here with your breath. Inhale, coming back to center, tuck the toes under. Lift your hips up as we exhale and can press back into downward facing dog. So you might choose to stay still here. You might want to bring some movement into your first dog pose. Moving your hips, rotating your spine.
notice how you feel in your body today so that we can adjust our practice accordingly. So we'll be still in our dog pose now. So we've got that strong grounding through the palms and the fingertips. The sit bones are tilted, they're separating, pointing up towards the sky. You may need to bend your knees here as we work the heels towards our mat. Now as we inhale, start to move our weight forward, so coming into a plank type position. Exhale, press back, down dog. Inhale to plank. Exhale, down dog. Twice more of the same here with your breath. Inhale, bend your knees, and as we exhale, drop the knees down onto your mat. And we want to bring the knees wide, hips to heels, pressing back into forward stretch. We'll pause here for 3 breaths. So here again in our forward stretch, we've got that strong grounding, the same as we did in down dog, palms, finger pads. Breathe into your back body. We want to feel those back and side ribs expand and contract with our breath. Press your hips back a little bit closer towards your heels. Smooth, even, deep and rhythmic breath. As we inhale, we can lift the head. Come back over onto hands and knees. Tuck your toes under. Exhale, come back into dog pose. Inhale, bend your knees, looking forward. Exhale, step forward to the top of your mat. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, half lift, looking forward. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up. Draw those arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands through heart center, coming into Tadasana, mountain pose. Your eyes are closed. Here in Tadasana, we want to ground down through the soles of our feet. Draw up through your kneecaps slightly. Feel your legs engage. Spine is long, shoulders are relaxed. Center yourself, connect to your breath before we start to bring some more flow and movement into the body. As we inhale, you can gently open the eyes, draw your arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold, so swan diving down, bring your fingertips to the mat. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, half lift, so we can either have our hands to our shins or you may have your fingertips to your mat. Spine is long, looking forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step yourself into plank. We have the option to drop to the knees here if we need to. Exhale, Chaturanga, all the way to the mat. So we want to tuck those elbows in as we bring the torso down. Press through the tops of your feet. Inhale for Cobra. Exhale, press back to Downward Facing Dog. Inhale, bend your knees, looking forward. Exhale, step forward to the top of your mat. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, looking forward. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands through heart center. Moving through the same again as we inhale. Exhale, fold, swan dive. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, we're coming into plank. Remember, we can come down to the knees if we need to. Exhale, chaturanga, all the way to your mat. Inhale for cobra, move your shoulders away from your ears. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, bend your knees, looking forward. Exhale, step forward. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands through heart center. We're going to move through one more round of the same. So we can flow through at our own pace here, using our breath. Starting to warm up through the body here. Synchronizing each movement that we take here with our breath. Once we finish our last round of salutations, we can come back into Tadasana. Eyes are closed down. And just notice the qualities of your breath. Just make sure that you're still breathing deeply here. Feel the heat starting to build in your body. As we inhale, we can gently open the eyes, draw the arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, press back, dog pose. Just pausing here for one breath. As we inhale, we're going to float our right leg up towards the sky. Exhale, step your right foot forward. Drop your left heel so it's 90 degrees. It's in line with the short edge of your mat. Left hand to left hip. Right fingertips either come down to your mat, or if you have your block or your improvised block handy, and you might want some more space in the pose, we'll take a hold of that now. We're setting up here for Trikonasana, triangle pose. As we inhale, start to bring some length into that front leg. So for you, you may need a bend in your knee to see how it feels for you here. We want to tuck under through that right sit bone. We're rotating through the spine so we can keep that heart center nice and open here. Once we're set up, we've reached maximum rotation. We use the inhale to float our left fingertips. Trikonasana, triangle pose. So here again, we want to embody this feeling of being expansive and open. So the legs are really working here. So we've got the strong grounding through the soles of the feet. The top half of the body feels quite light, but that top arm is still working here. So with your gaze, you might keep your gaze straight ahead. It might feel nice for you to lift your gaze to the top fingertips. If neither of those options feel comfortable, you can turn your gaze down to your mat. Smooth, even, rhythmic breath. From here, use your top hand to help you to come up. As we inhale, bring a bend into the knees. Come
to warrior two. We're transitioning through this pose into reverse warrior. So now we bring the left hand to the left leg, flip the palm of the right, and then we'll start to come into a bit of a back bend here. So here again, we want to lift up through the heart center. Lift the gaze if it feels okay for your neck. Feel that nice opening through your front body. Breathe deeply into your front body here. Inhale, come back to warrior two. Going to transition into side angle stretch. So option one, right elbow to right knee. Left arm draws across the ear. Option two is to come down either to your block or coming down onto the mat. So which option we take, we need to rotate through the spine here again. So draw back on that left shoulder. Breathe into your left side body. So that nice opening all the way down the left side body. If that's not quite comfortable, you have the option to bring the left hand to your left hip. Nice opening here for those inner hips. Nice opening for your side body. We want to breathe into this space. We've got 2 more breaths here. Now from here, if we haven't already, we'll release that left hand to your left hip. Setting up here for Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. So what we want to do is just lift that back heel up a little bit. Step the back foot in a little bit. So you can utilize your blocks here again if you want to bring more space into the pose. So from here, we can float that left leg up off the mat. Left hand to left hip. We've got the right fingertips grounded either to our mat or to our blocks. You may need a little bend in your grounded leg. Let's see how it feels for you here. We want to find a drishti, our gaze point, to help us balance. And we want to press through the sole of our lifted leg, so that makes sure that that leg is working here, it's engaged. So once we've done all of those steps, we're set up. If we're going on, use the inhale to float your left fingertips. Here's another pose for us to feel that sense of expansiveness, openness, receptivity. Just make sure that you can maintain your breath here. Once you are ready to come out, slowly with control, we'll start to release our back foot, the fingertips back down to the mat. And we can press back to downward facing dog. Pausing here, recenter yourself before we come over to the other side. As we inhale, float our left leg up this time. Exhale, step your left foot forward. Drop your right heel down 90 degrees. It's in line with the short edge of your mat. The front foot's either going to intercept the arch of that back foot, or you have your heels aligned here. Right hand to right hip to start. Left fingertips can either reach to your block, reach to your mat, or you can even just rest your left hand to the front of your left ankle here. So find what feels most comfortable for you once we're set up. We use the inhale, we start to bring some length into that left hamstring. Again, bend the knee a little bit here if you need to. We don't want to overstretch that hamstring. Draw back on your right shoulder here. So we're rotating through the spine. We're bringing space to the front body. Once you're set up here, we use the inhale to float the right fingertips. Triangle pose. So here again, we want that sense of grounding strongly. The legs are working strongly here. The front body is nice and open. We can use each exhale to maybe rotate that little bit deeper. Smooth, steady breath. Make sure you're extending out through those top fingertips. We've got 2 more breaths here. We'll start to transition out of the pose now. Use the inhale in your top hand to help you to come out. Bring a bend into the knees. We'll transition into warrior 2, but then we're coming into that reverse warrior. Right hand to right leg. Flip the palm of the left. See if we can lean back here. Lift up through your heart center. Lift the gaze to your top fingertips if that feels comfortable for you. Feel the openness through your front body. Inhale, coming back through warrior 2, setting up for our side angle stretch. So we want to take the same variation that we did on the first side. So we're either here with the left elbow to the left knee, the right arm drawn across the ear. Alternatively, we can have that hand to the right hip. Option 2 or 3 is to come down either to your block or fingertips come all the way down to your mat. Wherever we are, we want to tuck under through that left sit bone, so make sure that the sit bone's not poking out to the back. Keep rotating through your heart center. Breathe into that right side body. If that right arm's drawn across the ear, make sure that you're extending out through the fingertips. Full body engagement here. Just 1 more breath. From here, we'll start to swing that top arm around. Lift the back heel. We're setting up for Ardha Chandrasana, a half moon pose on this side. So again, if you want to use your block here, we can take that with us as we go. Step your back foot in a little bit. Bring your left fingertips out on a 45-degree angle. We'll start to float that right leg up. Right hand to right hip. Find your drishti. Press through the sole of your right foot here. Once we're set up, we can float those right fingertips. Just notice how you feel when you're holding this expansive, strong, balanced pose. When you are ready to come out of the pose, slowly with control, bring your fingertips, your back foot back to the mat. Come back to your resting pose. So that's either dog pose, or you might come down into forward stretch. Bring the knees wide, hips to heels, arms long, and bring the third eye down onto your mat. Take this opportunity here to recenter, recollect your breath. If we haven't already, we're going to bring ourselves back up into downward facing dog. We're going to move through a similar sequence now, but this time each pose is going to be the rotated variation. As we inhale, we're going to float that right leg. Exhale, step your right foot forward. Keep your back heel lifted for now. We're bringing the left fingertips to the inside of the right foot. So we want to draw back slightly on the right hip. The spine is nice and long. Take an inhale here, lengthen your spine. And as we exhale, we're coming into our rotated variation of side angle stretch. So we want to float those right fingertips. Use the inhale to bring length into your body, energy into your body. As we exhale, we might be able to rotate a little bit deeper. So the challenge here on this round of sequencing is to Find that expansiveness in our body and in our breath when we've got constriction in the body because we're rotating the pose. Use the inhale, bring yourself back to center. So we're going to keep that left fingertips to the inside of the right foot. We're setting up for Pravikta Trikonasana, so rotated triangle pose. If you feel that you might want to use your block for more space, we'll take a hold of that now. Right hand to right hip. Use the inhale, start to bring some length into that right leg once again. Remember, if you need to, bend the knee. As we exhale, start to twist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. So really strong opening for the right hamstring and the outer right hip. So we want to breathe into this space. If you feel that you can go on, we can use the inhale to float our right fingertips. Find that space in your breath here. Find space in your body. Inhale, coming back to center. So the last pose, we're coming into a rotated variation now of our half moon pose. So we want to step that back foot in a little bit. Again, utilize your blocks here if you need to. So we're going to start by floating our back leg up off the mat. Left fingertip stays grounded to either the block or to the mat. We bring the right hand to the right hip. Use your inhale to lengthen your spine. As we exhale, start to rotate towards the right. So really, really strong pose here. Really strong for the right hamstring and the outer right hip. If you feel that you can go on, we can now float our right fingertips. Now just hold the pose as long as feels okay for you. When you're ready to come out, slowly with control. Release yourself back to center, back to your resting pose. So either dog pose or come down into forward stretch. Give yourself the opportunity just to come back to center, come back to your breath. We've got one more side to go. If we haven't already, we'll bring ourselves back up into dog pose. Use your inhale to float your left leg. Exhale, step the left foot forward. Setting up for our rotated triangle pose. No, we'll do our rotated side angle pose first. So bring the right hand to the inside of the left foot. So we want to draw back slightly on the left hip. Spine is nice and long. Make sure that this back leg is working here as well. So press through the heel of your right foot. Use the inhale to draw length into the spine. As we exhale, start to rotate here. So here again, you may choose now to float your left fingertips. And we can work with the breath. So use the exhale to rotate deeper. Find the expansion in your pose. Inhale, coming back to center. Right fingertips stay to the inside of the front foot. Now we're going to come into our rotated triangle pose. As we inhale, start to bring length into the left leg. We've got the left hand to the left hip. As we exhale, we'll go for the twist here again. So rotating towards the left. You can either keep your left hand to your left hip. If we're going on, we'll float our left fingertips. Smooth, steady breath, nice long spine. Use your inhale to unwrap, coming back to center. One last pose to go. We're going to come into our rotated variation of half moon pose. Remember, use your blocks if you need to. We'll take them with us. So we'll step the back foot in a little bit. And then from here, we'll float that back leg up off the mat. So press through the heel of that back foot. Straight away, we're going to feel the strong opening through the left hamstring, the outer left hip. So we want to breathe into this space. Bring your left hand to your left hip. Use your inhale to lengthen here. As we exhale, we'll go for our twist. So again, we can either stay here if you want to go on. We can float our left fingertips. And just stay in the pose as long as feels okay. When you're ready to come out, slowly with control, release your back foot, your fingertips to your mat. Come back to your rest. If we haven't already, we can all now come down into either forward stretch or child's pose, so we can have the knees nice and wide. Arms are either extended, or you might choose now to wrap the arms beside the body. Just settle your body here, start to slow your breath down. And just take some time now to reflect on the difference between the poses in the first round of sequencing and the poses on the second round, where we were rotating and therefore creating a little bit of restriction in the body. And just reflect on how that made you feel, and if you were able to consciously draw in that feeling of being expansive while being physically restricted in your body and in your pose. And whatever we discover is perfect. There's no judgment here. As we inhale, we can slowly lift the head and come on up to sitting. We're going to come into our first yin pose, which will be Anahatasana, which is our melting heart pose. So a few different options in terms of our props. So I'm going to come over onto hands and knees, and the full expression of the pose without any props, we want to tilt and separate the sit bones. We'll walk the hands forward, and then we would bring the third eye down onto the mat. So quite a strong pose, but if you're quite open in your shoulders, that might be a good option for you to take. If you've got a block and a bolster at home, take a hold of those now. Otherwise, we're going to use just some bed pillows or some cushions. So you might use your block or your improvised block here to rest your third eye onto. Another option is to take a hold of your bolster or your cushions. And same thing again, so we're going to set up in the same way. And you can either use your bolster to rest either your third eye, so we've got the arms nice and long here, rest your third eye, and then we've got some space for our face to rest here. So we want to sink down into the pose. You might choose to use your pillows or your bolster to rest that heart center onto. So there's a few different options here. Have a play around, find what's going to work best for you and what's going to be comfortable enough. We don't want to be too comfortable, we do still want an element of challenge in the pose. But find what pose you're going to be able to hold for the next few minutes. once we're there, we've got the eyes closed and we'll resolve to remain still here. So this is our Anahatasana, melting heart pose. So as the name of the pose implies, we want to allow our heart center to soften here, to melt towards the mat. And although we're closed down in the pose, so we're bowing down towards the earth, we can start to embody and draw in that sense of expansiveness that we've been seeking throughout our practice so far. So not only do we want the heart center to melt from the front of our body, but also from the back of our body. So that space between your shoulder blades, just allow that part of your body to start to melt here. Melt your heart towards your mat. So we can feel here really strong opening here for our chest, for our shoulders. We're getting some nice energy here moving into the front of our body, into our Anahata heart chakra. Just check in, notice if you're maybe unconsciously holding on to some tension in your body. And if you find that you are, just make a conscious effort now to start to surrender here. Start to allow that space, that expansion to move into your body. Notice how it feels for you here to be flooding your front body, flooding your heart center with fresh, clean energy. Feel the space through your front body. Feel the space through your back body. Getting the energy moving into the stomach and the gallbladder meridians. They run through the front of our body. Of course, if you need to come out of the pose a little bit early, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, we're going to spend another 5 of our deep breaths here. So we can breathe deeply. We can feel our rib cage expand and contract with our breath. As we inhale, very slowly we'll start to lift the head, come on up. And we can either find our comfortable seated position. You might choose to come into child's pose, wrapping the arms beside the body. And we're pausing here between our poses, giving ourselves the opportunity to notice and absorb any effects from our last pose. Feel the space through your front body, through your chest, your shoulders, your heart space. Inhale, gently opening eyes. We're going to bring ourselves to lay down onto the mat. We want to keep either our cushions or our bolster handy beside us to the left of the mat. We're going to come down onto the mat and we're just feeling the mat beneath us here. Now from here we're going to cross our right leg over the top of the left. Coming into a twist, I'm going to show you two different options here. So arms can come out beside the body. Make sure your spine is nice and long on your mat here. We'll take an inhale, and then as we exhale, we'll drop our knees over towards the left. So we need to make sure that we can keep both of our shoulders grounded to the mat. So in order to do that, you may need to have a prop, so your pillows or your bolster to rest your knees. You might not need that option, in which case we can just release the bolster. And you can either keep your head centered, it might feel nice to turn the head in the opposite direction. Just get a nice stretch, release through the neck. Now if that's not quite comfortable for you, the other option you can do here is to stack your knees. So we're just going to bring one knee on top of the other, so knees are stacked, the hips are stacked, and again we just want to make sure that we can keep both shoulders grounded down onto the mat. So find which option resonates with you here. Again, we want to make sure we're comfortable enough so that we can stay in the pose for the next few minutes. So find your spot. Once you're there, your eyes are closed down. And just allow yourself to settle into this pose. So here again, this is another pose, so we're rotating, we're twisting through the body. So nice rotation, some energy moving into the spinal column. And I want you to be able to feel that sense of expansion here again when we're rotating, when we're slightly restricting the body. So we want to maintain our deep and even breath. So this pose is very cleansing, very detoxing for both our physical body, so we can feel here that we're bringing out through the digestive system. And also for our emotional body. So notice if anything comes to mind for you here that you feel that you need to release and let go of in your life. If that's the case for you now, give yourself permission to let it go. Ring out anything that no longer serves your highest good. Just a few more breaths here before we start to move ourselves out of the pose. On your next inhale, very slowly, we'll start to rotate ourselves back to center. So we just want to pause in the center here, realign the spine, and just give yourself the opportunity to notice and absorb the effects of that last pose. And when we release ourselves back to center after being in a rotated pose, it sends a rush of energy through the Sushumna, which is the largest meridian, or nadi, energy line in the body, and it runs all the way through the center of the spine. So just notice if you can feel that energy moving through your spinal column here. And once you're ready to come into the pose on the other side, we're going to cross the left leg over the top of the right. So we've got the same options here on this side again. So we'd now be dropping the knees over to the right side of the mat. So you may or may not need that prop for your knees when you come over. And remember, if the cross legs isn't quite comfortable, we can stack the knees and stack the hips as we bring those legs over towards the right side of our mat. And again, we want to make sure we can keep both of our shoulders grounded down to the mat. You can either keep your gaze straight ahead. You might feel that you want to turn the head in the opposite direction. Get that nice release here. We'll stretch out through the neck. Have a wriggle, find your spot, and once we're there, close your eyes down if they aren't already. Feel that nice twist, that nice cleanse, detox through the body, through the emotional body here as well. And we can visualize here that we're getting rid of any stagnant energy from the body, and we're allowing space for fresh, clean energy to enter. A few more breaths here before we start to bring ourselves back to center. On your next inhale, gently unwrap, bring yourself back to center. Just realign your spine here again. Pause in the center here, notice and absorb any effects from that last pose. From here we can draw our knees in towards our chest. And we'll just start to roll around in one direction to get that nice release here, massage for the lower back. And then we'll come back in the opposite direction. Coming back to center. Gently release. We are setting ourselves up now for our final rest in Shavasana. So if there's any other poses that you'd like to move through before coming into Shavasana, please feel free to do so. If you would like to continue with that expansive feeling to close off your practice, you may choose to either bring your bolster or some cushions onto your mat, just to bring some height through your front body and open up through your heart center. That's just optional for you. Otherwise, we can come into traditional Shavasana. You might like to pop some height under your knees here with your cushions. You might like to pop a blanket over your body, whatever's going to help you to feel nice and comfortable and supported here. Just make sure that your spine's nice and long in your mat. Allow your feet to flop out to the side,
Arms rest beside the body, palms facing up towards the sky as a sign of surrender. And the eyes will close down if they aren't already. Just allow your body to become heavy on your mat. Run a scan through your body. Make sure that you're not holding any tension in your body. Your body should feel quite relaxed by this point in the practice, but if there is any tension in the body, just make a conscious effort now to surrender and release. Got our smooth, gentle breath flowing through the body. This is our time for rest, for restoration. Very slowly now we're starting to bring our awareness back. Bring your awareness back to the space that you're in. Feel the air around your body. Feel your mat underneath your body. Bring our left hand to rest over the heart center, the right hand over the navel center. And just feel the rise and fall of your chest with your breath. Invite a nice deep breath into your body, stretching out through arms and legs. Bending your knees will gently roll out to the right hand side. Just pause here for a few moments. And only once you feel ready, you can bring yourself up into a comfortable seated position. Eyes remain closed, or draw the hands to heart center in Anjali Mudra, prayer position. Bowing the head down. And before we step off our mat, we'll just make a vow to ourselves to take that sense of expansion into the rest of our day. And let's give thanks for the many blessings in our life. Thank you so much for joining me for our practice together. Namaste.